So welcome to Challenge the Road. You may have noticed, but prices are crashing in the used car market, but I think it's good in some areas, especially Porsches. We're going to go through all manufacturers, but I'm going to start with just going through what happened at the start, why prices went up, when they leveled off, and now why they're crashing, and what cars you could be looking at buying in 2024. Right, so firstly, Happy New Year. Got a glass of wine here. You've probably already been out. It's New Year's Day. But I'm going to have a little bit of wine because we got a lot to go through. It's going to be quite a long video. You're going to need to, if it's early in the morning, grab a cup of tea, coffee. If it's late at night, maybe have another glass of wine or a beer or whatever you fancy. But the first thing is what happened. So you need to understand that. You need to understand that obviously we had COVID, we had lockdowns, everyone was, suppressed at home. I thought that cars were just going to fall in value. I sold my Mitsubishi Evo, Tommy Mackinnon. Damn it, I shouldn't have sold that, but I did. And that was a car that I'd paid $38,000 for. I sold it just before lockdown for $40,000, and now it's probably $150,000. Who would have thought that? No one would have thought that. I wouldn't have thought that. So that happened, and with COVID, the big thing that pushed the car market up was one, COVID loans. So when they brought out these loans to help businesses, I know a lot of car dealers had record months. People could borrow as a business $50,000 with no credit check. I think the average for some of the companies was like £2 million loans. So, a lot of people went out and they bought cars, and started to inflate prices. And of course, what you had then was there was no supply because we had lockdowns. So if you have no supply, then everyone has to look at used, which again inflates stuff up. The thing I found is that because of COVID, I thought, crikey, if I'm going to die, I need to buy the car I wanted. And I did. I went out, I bought Subaru 22Bs, Escort Cosworths, everything I wanted, because I thought, crikey, if I get this COVID, I could die. I want to do stuff now that I wanted to do. And I had a good run of buying cars. I mean, I bought 3 Subaru 22Bs. One of them went up 100,000 in a year, and I sold that. And then I went to another one. So I had a good run of buying cars. And if you've been at the channel a long time or you're new, I've got quite a nice collection of cars. I love buying appreciating cars, or cars that don't depreciate a lot, or cars I enjoy from my childhood. That's really my vision and my aim of the channel, and also what I love to do. Now, the other thing that I saw that really pushed this up was I started using a site called Collecting Cars. Today
I'm driving a rally legend, the Subaru Impreza STI 22B. Welcome back to Collecting Cars. Today I'm driving one of our most recently consigned cars, this Subaru Impreza STI 22B. I want to find out what makes this car so special and why it's become one of the most sought after JDM cars.
You may know that, you may not, but it's an online auction site. It was very easy to have a glass of wine, go on your computer, buy a car, because you were used to not having to go to a dealership, look at the car, and make a decision. You were looking at lots of photos. And online auctions has seen a massive rise. I mean, you can have an auction anywhere now. I was just on PistonHead's website here, and you can turn your car from being a classified to an auction very quickly. So that has sort of given you this huge rise of people, one, having time to analyse the market, two, can buy a car anywhere in the world at any time. We haven't really seen that before. You used to go to an auction, and I always found them a bit daunting.
One for £650,000, third and final.
But with an online auction, I feel like, I can do that, and I could, bid on that car, which I've done several times. I've bought quite a few cars off Collecting Cars website, and I've enjoyed that experience, and I've sold them as well. So it took away all that fear factor and allowed the average person to be able to go and buy these cars instead of turning up and feeling a little bit awkward. That's why we saw the boom. What we now need to go into, when it started to level off, and then what's happening now with the big crash. Right, so let's go through what's happening. It's the summer 2022, and that is when all the cars leveled and started to drop. So in 2022, we saw supercar prices and car prices in general drop about 10%. That was the peak. That was when, if you sold, and I did sell some cars then, and that was the peak. Then it started to obviously drop off. Now, at the moment, we're seeing that interest rates are very high, and during that time they were going up 0.25%, 0.5%. Well, you imagine at one time in COVID it was 0.5% interest rates. Now we're at sort of 5.5%, coming up for 6%. People's mortgages are going higher, everything's going higher, and that is obviously having a huge effect, a massive effect on the market. The other thing I found was, what car do you buy? Now, we were being forced to go electric, but electric doesn't really work. It doesn't work for everyone. I mean, I've got the Porsche Taycan. I mean, I bought that because everyone kept saying, Richard, you're an idiot, you don't know about EVs, da 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 da. I thought, well, I'll buy one. So I bought one the next morning. It's not a problem. I'll buy a Taycan. It's the best one. Yes, it's an amazing car, one of the best cars I've ever had, but the range is still going to be an issue. Now, I can get around that because I've got several cars. It's not really a massive problem for me, but I think it could be a problem if you have range anxiety, you can't work out, some mornings if you wake up and it hasn't charged, it'd be a massive problem. I think then, people were going, well, do you go hybrid? Do you go mild hybrid? And I just think there's a lot of confusion. And then obviously they changed it from 2030 to 2035, so raised it another 5 years. And then I just think there's just massive confusion in the market on what do you buy. And I was doing this video thinking this is just a conversation between us really, because I'm thinking, well, so you got full electric, but in 2027 all the batteries will be solid state technology, which means they don't catch fire, they run 800 miles, 15-minute charge. Game changer. It's a bit like running your old mobile phone when you had the massive battery in a briefcase and turning up and having an iPhone in the same year. That's the change, a huge change. Also, your insurance will come down. It's a third of the weight. So the car's going to be fantastic. So all the other cars really are going to be in a state of not being worth as much. And I am hearing some horror stories on, auctions with Teslas going for £3,000, 5 years old, this type of stuff. And I do feel it's like a mobile phone. Once they go out of software and out of date, it's not like if you bought a diesel car, an older diesel car, you'd probably even service it yourself, you'd keep it running. You wouldn't lose mileage like you would on a battery. It wouldn't be like, I had 200 miles and now the battery's 100 miles and you can't do any work on that. You're seeing stories of the battery costing more to replace than the car was originally new. It's not great. And then I was thinking, well, hybrid I always said was the best, and now I'm going to do a video on this, but there's 10 cars with over 50 miles as hybrids, up to 90 miles as a hybrid, and I thought that's just perfect. 90-mile hybrid. Why didn't we go that way? I think the government made a wrong decision there. So that's what's happening there, and I don't really know. I thought mild hybrid would be great as well. If you just had a car that would just regenerate. I had a Range Rover that had a mile of regeneration, and my work is 6 miles, and I drove and I didn't use any fuel at all. I was able to sort of cruise down hills, press the brake harder, do lots of bits that gained me that mile of range. So it's a very, very tough decision, or for me to give you an answer today. I'm not sure, but all I can give you is my view on stuff. So that is creating a huge amount of problems, because now you've got huge amounts of electric cars that are unsold. I heard a little rumour with Taycan, and the reason I bought a Taycan as well is that Porsche are going to slow down production next year, 2024. So I think the residuals are going to hold. Also, I think it's the best one. It has been driving fantastic. So that's where I am with that car. I've still got the diesel van, which I still like. My wife's got her Audi hybrid. I still think that's the best car if you don't want any anxiety on range. So that's really, where that is that I don't think people really know exactly what to do or what to buy. And I think if I go back to like when I had a BMW M6 with a V10 engine, that 5-litre V10 was incredible. It done about 8 miles to the gallon, but it was phenomenal. But the gearbox was awful at low speed, but at high speed had some of the best drives ever. Then from there, the government said, right, we need smaller engines. And gradually they went down and down. Then they went more turbocharged. The problem with that is that people were just getting silly power output. As soon as you turbocharge something, they should have put limits on horsepower and stuff. But as soon as you turbocharge them, I thought, hold on, we're getting back to like Subaru days here. We're just all going to have 2-litre hybrid turbo. And then they're going, well, you're going to have all electric. And then that's causing another problem because we haven't got enough power for that. So we're going to have potentially blackouts. Then electric cars, really, are they very eco-conscious? Not really. So that's where it is. I'm going to wrap that up as like a bit of a part 2 there, because part 3, I'm going to go through all the cars that have lost a huge amount of value and are losing more. And then we can go whether we stick or twist, which was the idea of the video. And I'll go through my thoughts and where I feel that is. So I must say I've been really looking forward to this bit of the video where I'm just going to pick some manufacturers and some cars, and just between us, let's just have a look at values and prices, what's happening. I'm like pretty happy because I feel some of these cars that I couldn't get because I thought that they were too higher priced, I was right, and I didn't buy them. And at the moment, the only car I've got that's sort of almost new is the Lamborghini STO, and we'll go through values on that. Then down from there, it would be the P1, which is 10 years old. And then I've got some 2010 cars. But most of my cars are 90s. I was looking through the 90s, early 2000s. And that's simply because of when I looked through all the data, if you have people in that age that they're sort of 40 to 55 now, they're the cars that are going to go up in value. And we've already seen that. I think we'll start with Porsche. I'm really looking forward to this. So, all right, let's move this wine out the way. Now, Porsche 911s. Now, I've been watching some YouTubers lately, and I watch a lot of videos, and it took me a while to sort of put this together, this video in my mind, but they were saying some stuff on there. I'm not going to say who it was, because some people sent me some videos and said, Richard, what do you think of this video? And I thought it's poor. It's poor information on there. When you had the 991 GT3, I originally got a GT3 RS. And when I got it in 2016, they said, Richard, if you wanted to sell this now, you'd get 275,000. I paid 152. Now, I didn't sell that car because I wanted to keep the relationship with Porsche, which I did. And the car went down, and then I sold it for about 154. So it's similar price to new. Now, I was watching this YouTuber going through cars. He's very, it's had over 100,000 views. He's very well known. And he was trying to say on there that the 992 now, oh, look how much they've dropped, and this hasn't happened before and all this. No, it's happened on all of them. So I was a bit annoyed because I thought, don't give wrong information to people. Now, this is now happening 992. I know 1st of January 2023, there were no 992s under £200,000. Well, they're now down, I'm just looking on here, at 164. There's 43 992s. They also do a touring. So let's have a look at 992 tourings. Lowest price, 175. That's at the moment. These have still got more to go, trust me. They've still got more to go. These are going to come into the 150s. A lot of them are under list now. That's a fantastic car. And I'm happy because I didn't want to pay over list for one. I was actually offered one and it was 250. Then there was one at 220 and I didn't, and I'm really, really glad I didn't do that. Now, if you bought it new from Porsche, you're still pretty happy. But what's going to happen is everyone had this run, didn't they? Oh, it's way over list. I've made 50 grand, da, da, da. Well, that's gone now. So now you're going to see people try and come out of them to try and retain some sort of profit or not lose. So that's going to be an interesting place. 991 GT3, I think, is a good place to be. I would actually have an RS. I had the RS before. I think at 140, 150, they're great value. And again, these have dropped down. What's also interesting is that when you look at the cars, there seems to be more GT products sometimes than the standard ones, which is crazy. Because like I looked on here and there was a 992, what was it? 992 Carrera GTS, lovely cars, 58 of them. But there's 80 GT3s, which is unheard of, which means they're obviously pumping in a lot of 4-litre cars. Porsche, done a video on the Cayman. I couldn't believe the 4 litres have come down so much. They've come down now to like 75, 72, there's one on there now. These are going to be 65,000. That's a 4 litre. So, like I say, rub your hands together because there's some, you know, serious deals out there. These cars were always 100 grand. Even more, 120, 130 when they were new. They're always over list, but these are dropping and dropping fast. I'll move on from Porsche there. I could look at some of the others. The other car I would look at, if I was looking at a Porsche, I was looking at Rennsport. I'd have a classic Porsche. I do miss the 993. I'd have a classic Porsche. They're dropping as well. That's what I would go for. If I was getting one, I'd get a classic one, really enjoy it. I suppose we'll have to talk about Taycans as well while we're there. We know they're dropping. 656 in here for sale. That's a lot. They're from 50,000. I love it. If it can fit your lifestyle, I think it's a great car. Now, I've had some requests out there for Ferrari as well. Let's go into Ferrari. Because there is some massive drops on Ferrari. So we go to 296. It's quite an easy one. So 296 come out. Remember it coming out. I got offered cars. They were like over list. So probably around 300 to 350. A lot of them. They were selling for that. I thought it was crazy. I had a look at the car. Don't want to be too controversial, but I wasn't that overly keen on it for 350,000. And I'll tell you why. I just think a hybrid sort of supercar, you sort of think, cool, that's good. It's hybrid and it's got electric and that. And yeah, that's nice. I'd rather have a V10. And if we're going to have e-fuels and stuff, we'll go on to that a bit more. But if you're going to have e-fuels and stuff, I'd just have a V10 Lamborghini. And I think these are going to keep dropping because at the moment, there is a car here, VAT qualifying, 228,000 including VAT. And I know that car's 300 new. So that's 70 under. This is a 2022, by the way. So these are dropping 235, 235. These are going under 200 sharpish next year. They're going under 200. Quite a lot on here. 53 is quite a lot. The GTS seems to be holding its money because there's not many on there. But again, you know, you're going to lose money on that. The other car could be a good buy is the FF. I've done a video on that. Absolutely love that car. But that's one of Haggerty's picks as a car that's going to really hold its money. Now, they are dropping down in the sort of 90s. 95s, 100s. I think they're going to hold their money well. So that would be a good place to be. Other Ferraris on here. LaFerraris are still huge amounts of money, but SF90, another car I really like. They were sort of 450s. I see here 340. I think they're going to be under 300. I think they're going to carry on dropping. And again, because people worry about the battery and stuff on these cars. I'm going to pick another one here. I'm going to pick Ford. There's a lot to go through. I'm sorry, it's going to take quite a bit of time. But Ford, I really like Fiesta STs. I was having a look at them, and they've come down a lot, you know, and they're not a lot of money. I think £14,000. What a great car that is. And I've heard they're amazing on the road. I'd love to review one. If you've got one, please lend it to me. But the reason I chose Ford was there's a car at the moment that I've got in the garage. I'm going to take it out over winter, Escort Cosworth. Now, I thought these were going to rocket up in value, and I had to get in. Now, I looked at an Escort Cosworth not that long ago. It's probably about 8 years ago, and they were like, I don't know, £12,000. Then they went up, and I thought, I have to buy in because it's my favourite all-time car. It's the car I have to have. I love the Escort Cosworth. So I bought one, which I thought was a good price, 28,000 mile car, and it was 78, which doesn't look too bad here. But I saw on Collecting Cars, one went for, I'm trying to remember the price, I'll bring it up, but I thought it looked a lot of value. And I'm looking at Escorts here. When I look at an Escort, just a normal Escort XR3i, you imagine them? You probably think XR3i, they won't be worth a lot. £30,000. You know, these cars are rocketing. Still, turbos here. RS Turbo, £50,000, 36,000. So if the Escort Cosworth is like 60, 70, 80,000, that Escort Cosworth's got to go up surely. So I think that's still a buy. I was looking at getting one, but remembered I had two anyway. But I really, really like that car. I think it's a really good looking car and is going to go up. So that's 3 manufacturers down. Who should we pick next? I'll tell you what, we'll pick BMW. That's another good one. So always looking at BMWs. Now, BMW M5, I think, is just the bargain car in the world. I'm going to go 4-wheel drive. I had one in rear-wheel drive, and I think it cost me about 25,000. 4.4 V8 turbo, but it's always wheel spinning. Awesome car, mega car. I'm going to go 4-wheel drive because I know these were a lot of money. Probably, I don't know, 100 grand. So drivetrain, 4-wheel drive, 181 4-wheel drive M5s for sale. So they've obviously overproduced, which is what everyone's been doing. So a new one here is 108,000, brand new. Let's have a look at second hand. Second hand here, 32,000. Okay, got 100,000 miles, but M5s are bulletproof as a car. That 4.4 is a bulletproof engine, I'm telling you. 38,000. 35,000. Here you go, look, 38,500, 37,000 mile car. I had a look at that and thought I should just buy that. That is a 4-wheel drive, 600 horsepower M5. It doesn't get any better. Put a personal plate on that, I think it's a 100 grand car. I don't know what you guys think on that, but I think that's mega. I've been looking at M3s as well and M2s. I'll probably go M2s first. I've never had an M2, but I really like the look of them. Let me just reset this. I want to just take it off 4-wheel drive. Now the M2 I think is a lovely looking car, but I thought they had more to drop, which they did, and we'll look at prices now. M2, 538 for sale, so that's a lot. Lowest here, M2. Here we go, you know, DCT, that's the transmission, auto, 22,000. That's a good buy. 56,000 miles, 22,000 for an M2. This is just, and I don't think we're near the bottom yet. I think there's still more to go. That is a bargain out there. That's a bargain. You know, 22,000. These were 50 odd new. Right, where should we go next in BMW? I'll tell you where I'll go. I'll go Hybrid X5 because I keep looking at them. Hybrid X5. Let's have a look at that. Let's just reset this. Get it? I have so many settings in here. So BMW X5, and I'll tell you why, because they do a hybrid in the X5s. It's got about 50, 60 miles hybrid. We know that's the best one. So let's just go hybrid in here. Here we go. Engine, fuel type. Plug-in hybrid, 282. So quite a lot of them around. And then, so we're looking at here. So a 2020 model, 31,000 miles, 2 owners. The 45E, which is the bigger battery, £42,000. I think that's a lot of car. I think that's a lot of power, and I could probably find ones lower than that. I think that's a great car. And I know the BMWs to me are just peak at the moment, especially like X3 as well. So let's think of another manufacturer while we're here. McLaren. Okay, not for everyone, but these are dropping. Arturas are dropping. 650S, you know. Maybe you know enough that McLaren is probably a bit too nichey. Well, who else should we pick? Who else should we pick? What about cars I really like? Shall we go? Let's go VW. Let's go Golf GTE, because that's just such a good car. So Golf GTE. I'll go GT Advance, which is the best one. There's 128 of them. Lowest price now, under 10 grand. Under 10 grand. A lot of miles, 120,000, but I wouldn't worry. Nothing wrong with the Golfs. Just get a warranty on it, you're off. Yeah, so 12 to 15,000 Golf GTE. So they've come down again a lot. That's a bargain car. And the thing I like is that because if you have a car that's 100,000 like an M5 and now it's 38, can't lose another 62,000, can it? Impossible. So that is gone. All that money is gone. What about, let's pick Audi, because we like them. So I know the best one is probably Q5, and we're just going to go, I'll go Vosprong. There's only 3 of them, hybrid. Okay. So a 2020, and Vosprong is like the best spec for Q5. Best value in the UK here. 38,000 miles, 2020, 35,990. That's a superb car. You can't get much better than that. That is awesome. What else are we going to pick? We have to go Land Rover, I suppose. Now, I know, obviously, with all the videos, there's lots of problems there, but their cars to drive are great, but electrical problems we know. That's why I sold the Range Rover, the P400. But Evoque's here, good value again. I would go plug-in hybrid Evoque, 22,000, 24,000. So a plug-in 1.5 P300e, that is mega value. But I know there's the problems with the insurance. But I think we're going to get round that. I think we're going to get an answer from JLR, and that's going to improve. And this insurance isn't just Land Rover. I mean, we're seeing other manufacturers having problems, and also EVs, because they have a habit of catching fire. But yeah, Evoque's here, plug-in Evoque's 25,000, loads at 25, 2020 reg. I think that's a great car, really great car. Let's pick another manufacturer here. Sorry, it's quite a long video, but what about Mercedes? Because Mercedes, I got offered a load of EVs the other week from them, and they were 40,000 under list EVs. So let's just pick full electric, 938 cars. That's a lot of electric cars. Can't be that high, surely. So let's have a look at something called an EDC. Where is it here? EQC. There's not so many different names on here. So EQC, here we go. Let's have a look at that one. EQC here. Now new, the highest one new, 82,000. Right, this is 3 years old. I can't believe this. 3 years old, 44,000 miles, 26,000. So that is a massive drop, isn't it? That is massive. £26,000. And that's why I said these electric cars are going to be like despised. There's another one here, VAT qualifying, 26,000. I'm going to go into that and have a look. Yeah, 80 kilowatt battery, 245 mile. That's just a bargain. And that's what I said. I think these electric cars, you're just going to buy them. You can almost, I don't know, have them as a runaround. It's just, the only problem is, where's the bottom now? If that's lost that much, that is crazy. I didn't even think it would be that much, if I'm honest. Right, what other manufacturers? What about Aston Martin? I know we have done some videos on them before. Let's just clear this. I don't think they have a full electric car actually. But DBX, really like that car. Let's have a look at that. Let's just reset this. So Aston DBX. Let's have a look. Here we go. Oh, I've got another car we need to do. M3 Touring, don't we? So DBX on here. Really, I mean, I've done a video on that car. Really enjoyed it. 94. So they are way under 100 now. 97, 97, 99. So 4 under 100,000. That's really... I'm not going to say that's good value because I don't think high litre SUVs are where I'd put my money. I can't see it being good long term. I think you're going to be taxed out of them. Right, so let's go BMW M3 Touring. So I get asked about that, and I said that I think that's a great car and it's dropping fast. And let's see how many are for sale, because I've done a video on that a while ago. So let's just go M3 body type estate. 126 used ones, right? 126 used ones. Lowest price 75. So we're under 80 now. 75, 75, 75, 76, 77. Okay, let's just go to new cars, because I do this as well, and an Auto Trader makes a bit of difference here. So new cars, BMW M3, search. Brand new M3 winter sale event only, 79. Brand new M3 Touring, 84. They are dropping. I mean, when they get to 50,000, oh my God, I need one of those. And the reviews are pretty good on them. So the whole point of the video was stick or twist. Now at the moment, I'm just sticking. So I've got the Taycan. I'm quite happy. I think this market has more to go. Interest rates, done some more research. They actually went into Lamborghini and Porsche. Porsche interest rates 11.2. It's going to affect it a lot. I think these have got more to go. So I'm just going to stick for the moment, but I have got my eyes on a few bits, but very limited edition stuff. I still love the stuff where JDM stuff with 25-year rule. I still think that's a very good place to be. I still like the Escort Cosworth. I don't know what I'm going to do with my Taycan because I love it. I really love it to drive, but you know, I paid 106, it was 10 months old, I paid 66, but is there another, quite a way to go? Or have I just picked the best one with the 4S? I think I may have. I think that Cross Turismo in the 4S is the best one, so I might be okay for a bit. I am looking at Land Rovers as well, Range Rovers, long wheelbases. If they keep coming down and then that insurance gets better or JLR come up with something, I think that could be a good place to be. So yeah, so I'm going to stick. Every situation is different where you are, but if you are, going to twist and move around a bit, just be careful, because sometimes if you're in a diesel and you're quite happy and it's running well from you, I don't know why you would swap out of it, because you see the depreciation on electric. So if you go electric like that Mercedes, you're having a huge loss in 3 years, massive loss. You've never had that type of loss on a combustion engine. No way, there's no way. So I think you just got to be very, very careful with what you do. But yeah, well, I hope you enjoy these videos. I know that's quite a long one and quite detailed on everything, but I'm going to do some more on just hybrid on its own and sort of a top 10 hybrid models for range, and then do another one on full electric. And then I've got some interesting stuff on Porsche with some new engines they're going to bring out, which they are saying would make electric cars redundant. That's quite interesting, so that'll be another video. So yeah, hope you had a great new year, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Please like, share, subscribe if you can, helps the channel grow, and I'll see you again soon.